Be pretty nice. We're not going to get really cool until we get into this weekend again. So the timing back in the forecast by Saturday. We have partly cloudy skies. It's still hanging around for the Burbank, but we're going to get mild as we get into this afternoon. And then as we get into tomorrow, even warmer. So if you're inland, we'll get close to 80 degrees as we get into your Tuesday. And then we'll just kind of drop off as we get into the rest of the week. So we'll talk about how much cooler it's going to get again by the weekend, what the chances of seeing some rain will be like, and then when we could see some warmer weather returning again. Mark, Colleen, I'll send it back to you for now.
Okay, meantime, that was a real soaker over the weekend, at least for me.
That's for sure. But if you're up in the mountains and you're away from that marine layer coverage, we do have a little bit more sunshine. So that's what we're looking at here over the Angeles National Forest. And depending where you were, most areas got close to about 1/4 of an inch. If you're closer to the mountains, the foothills, about 1/2 of an inch of rain. And then some other areas didn't get much at all. So really depends where you were over the past couple now. But as we get into later this afternoon, we should start to see temperatures a little bit more mild. A low pressure is moving on out to the east. It's going to make way for this ridge to move in. And with that, we will start to warm up even more as we head into your Tuesday. So if you're inland by Tuesday, we should be getting closer to about 80 degrees inland, some upper 70s. So tomorrow should be feeling really beautiful. And then after that, we're just going to start to dip it right back down because we have this troughing pattern that will pretty much hang around through the rest of the week. And it's even going to bring some chances of some pretty light rain as we get into this weekend. But we can't rule out the chance of a thunderstorm. It's just too early to tell what's going to happen yet. This is going to be a cold system that's going to roll through, bringing in rain and snow to the Pacific Northwest, areas of the Sierra Nevada, and then we'll be getting the tail end of a system once again as we get into this weekend, it looks like. So probably pretty similar forecast as we get into your Saturday, Sunday. And then by Monday, it looks like it's moving out of here. And then as I roll through the longer range forecast, it looks like we might see some ridging next week. So hopefully a little warmer if you've been missing the warmer temperatures. Get back into some upper 70s for a couple days. And then we roll right back into some 60s by this weekend. So you don't want to put the jacket today through much of the week, and then we'll get into this weekend and we're really gonna weeks. Yeah. Hey, good morning. We have, and you know, at least their weather is improving a little bit too. We got some snow over the weekend. And areas closer to Mount Baldy got between, depending on the elevation, the highest elevation, up to about 6 inches of snow. And then elsewhere, areas closer like Big Bear, it looks like most of the other mountain communities that did see snow pulled off maybe just about a couple of inches. But Mount Baldy looked to be the winner over the weekend. And then the rest of us got anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch at the highest totals, unless you were in the mountains. And then, of course, you got a little bit more than that. But it was variable over the weekend. Either way, it was cool, and it was quite overcast too. That's still the case today, but we're going to see a little bit more sunshine as we head into this afternoon compared to yesterday. And then that should improve even more tomorrow with some warming temperatures. But right now it is still pretty cool outside. We're going to make its way closer to the Four Corners. And then we have this ridge of high pressure that's going to be moving on in as we head into your Tuesday. So while today is going to be pretty mild, Tuesday will be warmer inland. Areas of Los Angeles are going to get up to about 75 tomorrow. But if you're inland, we'll get closer to upper 70s, maybe right around 80. And then past that, we have this little trough that's going to start to make its way back in and sweep over the west. And we'll continue to see cooling temperatures with a possibility of some light rain again as we get into this weekend. But of course, higher total mild temperatures for the northern valleys, Northridge 71, Santa Clarita, and then Simi Valley with tomorrow getting up to some mid-70s. And then we just start to cool into the rest of the week. By the weekend, we are back into some 60s for Wednesday, Thursday. That goes for the beaches too. And then this weekend, we're all back into that cooler. We'll get into some low 80s, upper 70s for the rest of the week. And then it does start to cool off much more as we get back into this weekend. So similar weekend to what we just had this coming weekend, it looks like. Mark, Colleen, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Brianna, thank you.